Hey kids, Flexing Teacher Weber here. I hope you're having a good day. This is the second video on calculating the surface area of a cylinder. So what we learned in the first video is that to get the area of the cylinder, you have to unroll it and you get a rectangle and two circles. So this cylinder here has a circle on the side and then another circle on the other side like that. And then when you unroll it, you'll get a rectangle. So we have to picture that rectangle. So what I want to do is I want to unroll the rectangular part. So I'm going to unroll it to get the net. So it would look something like that. Now what we want to do is we want to label the dimensions of this rectangle that we get. Now check this out. This distance here, which is the height of this cylinder, you can picture this cylinder sort of laying on its side. This distance here, this 18 centimeters, is the exact same distance as the short side of the rectangle. So that side would be 18 centimeters. Now, it's the longer side of the rectangle that's tricky. It's this side right here, right? The longer side of the rectangle, and we showed this together on Teams, when you unroll it, that longer side of the rectangle is equal to the circumference of the circle. When you unroll this, you get this. So to get this longer side, we have to figure out the circumference of that circular part of the cylinder. So I'm going to write here C equals pi times diameter. And I'm going to substitute in my values. C equals 3.14 multiplied by the diameter of the circular part. Well, we can see in this one, the diameter of the circular part is 8. So 3.14 multiplied by 8. You do that calculation, 3.14 times 8, and you get that the circumference of the circle is 25.12, and we're talking centimeters. So the distance around this circle is 25.12, and that distance around is the same as the long side of the rectangle. So that means the length of our rectangle is 25.12 centimeters. I'm having trouble writing on my iPad today. So now we have a length and a width on this rectangle, and we're able to calculate the area of the rectangular part. The circles, we already have all the information we need for the circles. So I'm going to go to this page now, and let's first calculate the area of the rectangle. So I'll write rectangle, keep everything nice and organized. And we know the area of a rectangle is area equals length times width. Area equals, my dimensions are 25.12 and 18. So I'm going to do 25.12 multiplied by 18. And when I work that out, I'll have the area of the rectangular part. So 25.12 times 18, and I get 452.16 centimeters squared. That's the area of the rectangular part of this cylinder. Now we need to calculate the area of the two identical circles. So I'm going to make another heading, and I'm going to call it circles. We know area of a circle is area equals pi times the radius squared. Area equals 3.14, and we need the radius of the circle. Now remember, radius is half the diameter. We're given the diameter of this circular part. Half of that is the radius. So the radius is going to be 4 centimeters. So we've got to do 3.14 multiplied by the radius 4 squared. We did this question yesterday. Area equals 3.14. The radius squared is 16. And when I work that out, I get 3.14 times 16, and that is 50.24. However, that's only one of the circles, right? And there are two circles on this cylinder, there and there. So we need to double that. And when you double that, you get that the area is 100.48 centimeters squared. So I've got my rectangular part, I've got my circle part, and now just the total. To get the total area of this cylinder, bottom, top, and the rectangular part, I have to do 452.16 plus 100.48. When I work that out, that's 14, carry the 1, that's 6, decimal, and then this is 552. Having a lot of trouble writing. So 552 and 64 centimeters squared. That's how you calculate the surface area of a cylinder. A lot of steps, but just go through it slowly, right? Get the rectangle first, and remember, to get the long side of the rectangle, you've got to calculate circumference. And then you're given the short side of the rectangle, and after you get the rectangle, it's just a few area calculations, right? Let's do one more question. So, number 3, we've got a cylinder that's this time sitting on its, on its circular part. Remember, it's 2 circles, right? One at the top, one at the bottom. We have to picture this rectangular part first. So remember, we're going to roll out the rectangular part, and the long side of the rectangular part is going to be the circumference of the circle. So I'm going to roll it out that way. And there's the rectangle that we get when we roll out that cylinder. Just erase that little part right there. Now, the height of the cylinder is the same as the short side of the rectangle. Height of cylinder, same as the short side of the rectangle. So this measurement will be 10.5 meters. Now remember, this distance is the same as the rolled out distance, and the rolled out distance is the circumference of the circle. So to get the long part of the rectangle, we have to figure out the circumference of the circle. C equals pi times diameter. C equals 3.14 multiplied by the diameter of the circle. Now in this example, we are given the radius of the circle is 2.5 meters. To get the diameter, we have to double it. So the diameter of the circle is 5 meters. We'll do that calculation, 3.14 times 5, and you get that the circumference of the circle on this cylinder is 15.7 meters. That's the long side of the rectangle. Remember, when we roll out the cylinder, that part that we unrolled is the same as the long side of the rectangle. And now we have a length and a width that will allow us to calculate the area of the rectangle. Let's do that, shall we? So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to write rectangle. And rectangle is area equals length times width. Area equals, the dimensions are 15.7 times 10.5. So 15.7 times 10.5. Definitely want you using some technology for these calculations. So we'll do that calculation. And we get the area of the rectangle is 164.85 meters squared. So this is going to be like some big grain silo or something, right? This isn't a small thing. This is 164.85 meters squared. This is a big object we're calculating the area of. So we've got the rectangle. All we need to do now is get the circles. Well, let's write down circles. So the math equation for area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. area equals 3.14. Now the radius of this circular part is 2.5. So we're going to do 2.5 squared, or 2.5 to the power of 2. We have to calculate that first. So 2.5 times 2.5. And we get 6.25. So 3.14 times 6.25. And when we work that out, we get the area of one of the circles is 19.625. But remember, there are two circles, a top and a bottom. Now you might be asked to just calculate the area of one of them, right? You could do all kinds of things. But let's calculate the total. Let's calculate the area of both. So we got to double that. And you get area of the circles is 39.25 meters squared. So we've got the area of our circles, we've got the area of our rectangle, and the last thing to do is to get the total area of this cylinder. So you take your rectangular area, 164 and 85 hundredths, you add on the area of both circles, you add those up. That's 10, carry the 1. That's 11, carry the 1. That's 14, carry the 1. That's 10, carry the 1. And that's 2. And don't forget that there's a decimal right in here. And that is meters squared. Or you could write it as 204 and 1/10 meters squared. Either way is correct. That's your total surface area of that cylinder. That's a big cylinder. That's a very large thing. That's like a silo or something where we'd store grain. This is how you calculate the surface area of a cylinder. This is the last topic we're covering this year in grade 8 math, my friends, so finish up strong. I hope that helps. That's all for now. Flexing Teacher Weber, out.